fascinating. I'm just coming up with a bunch of things. I'm just going to blurt them out. These days, plant medicine is popular in the world, and some people drink things like ayahuasca. I've had my own experiences, but if you go back into the history of the shamans, traditionally, you would go to see the shaman. The shaman would drink the ayahuasca to heal you, and you weren't consuming it, but you could consume it because they were changing their energy state. And again, I just seen this because it sounds something similar to what this guy was doing, and it's amazing. Say someone who is super enlightened or calm that walks into the room, it can change an entire room if people feel that energy, whether they're inspired by it or calm by it or whatever. I mean, take it with the Dalai Lama walks in the room, all of a sudden, it just can change the vibe of it. So for people that initially think, well, how could that possibly be true? It kind of can be true, and that kind of a peace and energy is, I guess, infectious, and I guess that's what happened in this prison somehow.
Yeah, so well, I ended up writing three books about Ho'oponopono. Zero Limits was the first, and that by far has taken the world by storm, introduced it to humanity around the planet. And then I wrote, 10 years later, I wrote At Zero, because I had heard so many questions and I answered them. And then fairly recently, I wrote The Fifth Phrase, because I was introduced to a fifth phrase to use on top of the first four. The way to understand Ho'oponopono, at least in my opinion, is that its philosophy is that there is nothing outside of you. It's all an illusion. There's a little bit of Buddhism in there and a little bit of Jungian psychology in there, because it's saying that everything else is a mirror. And so if there's anything on the outside that's bothering you, it's not really the outside. I know when the therapist, Dr. Hulen, and I did seminars together, one of his favorite questions would be, have you ever noticed that when you have a problem, you are there? You're participating in it. You're creating it. To use secret terms, you are attracting it. But you're not doing it consciously. It's not like you sat there and said, well, I'm going to create homelessness. I'm going to create this encounter with my neighbor or employee or a vendor. You didn't consciously do that. Subconsciously, it was there, and it got manifested into what you're perceiving to be reality. But if you go back into where it all started and you dilute it with Ho'oponopono, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, you then change what's actually causing the reflection. It's almost like your mind is an old movie projector, and it's just shooting out what you're observing, but you are not just observing it, you're in it. You're in the movie of your life, but it's being projected from inside of you. And if you want to change the movie of your life, one of the 9 different ways you can do it is Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, it's beautiful. A friend of mine and a guest on the show, his name is Wes Watson, spent 10 years in the California prison system. He has a phrase. He says, you don't see the world through a window, you see it through a mirror. And it's the way and when people first hear that, what are you talking about? But it's like, he also says that the way you view the world is a secret confession of self. And these are hard things for people to hear because, like you said, they're like, no, there's a problem, or that person's bad, or blah, 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 blah. But it's all you.
Believe me, but it is all you, and that is the hardest thing for people to get, especially with Ho'oponopono, because it's so easy to point fingers. It is so easy to say, it's not me, it's COVID, it's the authorities, it's the president, it's the terrorists, it's climate, it's pick something. It's really easy to just throw responsibility to somewhere else. And that's part of the wake up. And maybe that's a reoccurring theme for our time together today. It's the wake up is that if you really want to create your reality, you want to manifest some of the things you've been longing for in your life, you've got to take your power back. You've got to bring it back into yourself, into your awareness, into your field of choice. When we sit there and go, well, my life would be great if it wasn't for my parents, or my life would be great if it wasn't for fill in the blank, just pick somebody. And now we've got somebody as our scapegoat. Now we can say it's all their fault, and we don't change. We don't do anything. But if we can bring it all inside of ourselves and go, okay, the way I was brought up, they did the best they could. Whatever's going on in the world doesn't necessarily have to affect me personally. And go inside and make choices from our ability to choose our own direction. Now we're empowered. But I would say that one of the big complaints people have about Ho'oponopono is they don't want to take responsibility. They don't want it to have it on their shoulders.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.